say at the Supreme Court when they're bringing that all in.
Not oy vey, oy vey.
No, not oy vey, oy vey.
Comes from
Oye,
whale
oye.
hunters.
Oh, yeah.
Comes from what?
Whale hunters.
Whale hunters. Okay.
Whalers.
Okay, okay, good.
Just saying this.
All right, well, you always learn something at Toastmasters. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters, and viewers at home. Well, it's Tuesday evening. It is June 19th. Yep, June 19th. We are at the west end of the Hy-Vee store on Burlington. We're in the club room at the end of the ice cream aisle. We're here every Tuesday night, 7:45 to 9:15. Yes, I see very well-trained people turning off their devices. That is excellent, excellent, because nothing in this room at this time is more important than paying attention to what's going on up at the front of the room and supporting our fellow members. Now, I said every Tuesday night, and right now I'm just going to give you an exception because next Tuesday night we are having our end of the year get-together, our end of the year dinner at Aranda's. So Aranda's is a Mexican restaurant. Anyone not know where Aranda's is across from the post office? You know that? It's a Mexican restaurant. Yeah, it has nice seating, there's all kinds of seating. We'll try to have a table towards the back. We'll induct our new officers. So we want everyone to be there. And we're gonna meet there at 7:15. Okay, so 7:15 for dinner. No, next Tuesday. So regular Toastmaster meeting time, instead of coming here, we will be at Aranda's restaurant, which means we won't be here. So we need to have a sign put up saying that we are out partying at the end of the year for our Toastmaster year. Okay. Good. All right. I think we're about ready to get started. We have people having new roles this meeting. Seems like we do not have a scheduled speech, so we would like to get that going. It's just like here we are in the summertime and you're on the edge of the pool and you have two choices. You can either stick your toe in and dabble your toes and then pull your toe back, oh, I don't know, and then stick it in a little bit more and maybe get it up to the ankle and pull it back. And that's one way to get into the water. It takes forever. You probably suffer more because each time you're getting a little colder. Or you can just jump in the pool and get going and start swimming. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. So we're all busy people. This is a little bit of a talk for here, everyone. We're all busy people. We need to make sure that we don't get so caught up in being perfect that we don't just go ahead and jump in the pool, do your best with your speeches, and then you'll start automatically getting better. Okay, just by doing that. Okay. Are you guys good over there? Hello? Are you, oh my gosh, look at that word.
I know, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
What is it?
We're gonna, okay.
But I actually run
Could
into
you pronounce it?
Okay, so we are on the edges of our seat waiting for our grammarian to help us with this. But now, you heard what I was talking about, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good?
Yes, that's right.
So I'm a little bit, like putting that out there because, this is where we have fun and we just go ahead and we don't worry about being perfect.
We just want to be ready.
Yeah,
I'm swamped.
yes. Okay. All right, well, with that, a little bit of announcements there. We're going to head right into announcing our Toastmaster for the evening, Dee Stauffer. Please help me warmly welcome Dee.
Thank you, Madam President.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, how's everybody today? Had a good day, all smiley. This is a good way to end the day, right?
Yeah.
We should end a day like this every week, every day, every week, and whatever. Okay, so my role is to get the ball rolling. So we don't have any prepared speeches, and that's something we need to work on, right? Needs to be more prepared speeches, because those are a little bit fun. So the role players, I'm the Toastmaster, Hy-Vee is the timer, Jen is the grammarian. The counter is Carmen. Where's Carmen? There she is. Art is the general evaluator. The greeter joke master is our president, Jean.
Actually, it's gonna be Dan tonight.
Huh?
It's gonna be Dan tonight.
Oh, it's Dan. I didn't know that. Okay, Dan.
Do the swap.
Do a little swap meet there. And I'm the Toastmaster. We should have a little bubbly, don't you think so? We're doing
Oh, yes.
Toastmaster.
toast. We got the
Yes.
toast. So no prepared speeches. So the table topic master is Peter Armstrong. Hy-Vee is the timer.
So D, just ask, go through each of the roles and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
ask
yeah,
them to
this
stand
timer.
up and,
Table topic master is Peter.
ask them to stand up and explain their role.
Oh,
So
could
You only have
Start-
to
Start
stand.
with the timer.
okay, the timer.
Okay.
Hy-Vee.
Okay.
Welcome back.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. As a toast timer, I will be tracking your time. We do not have a prepared speech, so I'm going to track the table topics speeches, which will be 1 to 2 minutes. Green light will be on at 1 minute, and yellow at 1:30, red at 2 minutes, and you have 30 minutes grace period to wrap up. Next we have our table topics evaluator. He will have also 2 to 3 minutes. Green light will be turned on at 2 minutes, yellow at 2:30, and red color or light will be turned on at 3. And she has 30 seconds to wrap up. And I will give a report of all times in the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. So the table topics master is Peter. The evaluator is Fraser.
Just go down, just go
Yeah,
down.
and
You don't need to do any
Oh,
more
okay, all right,
further.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You do need to finish introducing the 5 up above, the grammarian,
Oh, okay.
the counter, and so forth.
Didn't I say that? The grammarian is Janet.
Yeah, but
I'll
ask her to stand and talk, give her role.
Oh, okay, Janet, go ahead.
Okay. Janet, woo!
Oh,
Thank-
introduce them.
Yep. Have them say their role.
They
Yeah.
roll.
Okay, so this is the word of the day at dictionary.com.
Could you pronounce it,
So
please?
that's what happens when you're late. I'm like, what? But, I'm familiar with it, just not the word. Thigmotropism. It's the oriented growth of an organism in response to mechanical contact, such as a plant tendril coiling around a string support.
Wow.
And I've been having that with the vines at my house, are kind of looking for a place to grow, and if I just connect it to one little thing, it'll grab on and it'll go all
So-
the way up.
Could you say that again? Just, I'm gonna try to interpret that. in different-
The meaning is the oriented growth of an organism in response to mechanical contact, such as a plant tendril coiling around a string support, so.
So
So
can you
anything
use
has
it
to
in a
do with-
sentence? Use it in a sentence.
Anything has to do with coiling or growing, that would be,
Right.
all right.
The vines in my garden are showing thigmotropism as they climb up the lattice.
Could you,
Okay, good.
could you just say it in a sentence?
She
That
did,
was
she
it.
just did, she just did.
Again, I didn't quite.
Okay. A little louder.
Okay,
A little louder.
the vines in my garden are showing signs of thigmotropism
Okay.
as they are catching on to things to grow on.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
okay, and my role as grammarian, I will be watching for incorrect use of language and good use of language and making a note of it. And just how they're using the language in general. So I'll begin to record at the end. Okay.
And then Carmen, welcome back. Great to see you again as the art counter.
So as an art counter, I'm gonna write down, I cannot say mistakes, but maybe words that we overuse or sounds that we use during a speech that sometimes we don't even recall after the speech is done. Like, like, you know, so, but, and, John Craig, zero, some false start. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. And then the general evaluator is Art Atkinson.
We'll hear from him later,
Okay, hear from you later. Greeter Joke Master is Dan,
and we'll hear from him.
and you'll hear from him later also. So, and I'm the Toastmaster. So I introduce the Table Topic Master.
Yes.
The Table Topic Master is Peter.
Woo! No, you can't. You gotta.
Thank you. We're all time now.
Good, that's good, now you can sit down.
I'm off camera.
You can sit down if you
Sit down,
wish,
actually.
unless you're super eager to speak.
I'll have to think about that.
All right, today we have a variety of table topics. And I will still be inventing more probably as we go along. So our first topic, well, let's just have no point in giving it away. Who feels adventuresome? Art.
Hey.
All right. So I have here for you cards, and I will ask you to pick one card.
Pick a card, any card.
All right.
Five a diamond.
And this card will contain a color on it, unless I'm very much mistaken. And the question, or your talk will be to take 1 minute to tell us why you plan to paint your house this color.
Shake it. Shake hands.
Oh.
Peter, is it 1 to 2, so the timing's the same?
The time, it's 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
1 to 2 now.
And could you
Regular.
start with no light and then go to green? Perfect. You can say what the color is also.
That'd be good.
Yes, I'm thinking about the color pea green, to which I've been assigned. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and many guests who have visited tonight, and all of you viewers at home who are missing out. I've been asked to speak about why I'm planning to paint my house pea green. Now this is very interesting because the Table Topics Master seems to have intuited that in our household we're in a paint the house discussion, and that we've actually sought bids to get our house painted. And the reason we've chosen pea green is because several of the bids have come in mentioning that if we were to choose pea green, we could get a major discount because there's an overstock of pea green paint of the right type available locally, and we could have it for a song. There's another advantage to pea green, and that is that, well, you may have noticed that things are growing really fast these days. Your lawn, the weeds in your garden, everything in your garden that you want to have there and that's growing anyway. Everything green is coming up. Not necessarily pea green, but the pea green house would blend so perfectly with all of this stuff. And then in the wintertime, would definitely stand out. Pea green is anything but a standard Midwestern home color. There's a slate blue color, which is definitely a classic Midwestern home color. We see that a lot. There are gray houses. But pea green would stand out something terrific. It would probably add thousands of dollars to the resale value of the property. In addition, anything that was displaying thigmotropism would match, because such vines and growing things typically have that kind of a pea green color. So I count 3 major reasons: finances, blending in with summer growth, and sticking out in the winter. Mr. Tabletop Master.
Thank you, Art.
Now you know. And
I
nobody
was-
else go after that green paint.
Are there any other bold adventurers?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Oh, wait a minute. Udaifa got his hand up first.
All right, Raifa. Woo!
Beat off by just by a whisker. Hello. Pick a card, any card. Oh, are you there with me? Let's see, where's my, here it is. The question.
Okay.
Explain why all your clothes this summer will be that color.
Okay.
Shake, shake, shake.
Oh,
Yeah, all right. What is it?
It is.
Flamingo.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
It is my T-shirt.
oh, all right.
Flamingo.
The color was
Flamingo. pink.
flamingo.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and viewers at home. Welcome back. I've been away for about a month for Ramadan, and we've just last week we had our Eid or holiday, and a day before we have been in Ottoman to buy new clothes for my children. So we have chosen a couple of shirts for them, but the most beautiful shirt was flamingo pink. So, and based on that, we have chosen their shirts. And then my wife said, okay, let's choose something similar for you. So she has chosen this shirt for me. So I didn't prepare for this, but my shirt is actually flamingo pink also. Yeah, so usually I do not wear this color, but this is because I've purchased this T-shirt with my children. So that's the only reason. Thank you.
Thank you. What else? Oh, yeah.
Peter, hi.
Pick a card, any card. All right.
Dayglow orange.
So, I encourage you to pick any person in the audience and tell them why they should buy a car that is Dayglow orange. You can, test your sales skills.
Thank you. Honored guest, viewers at home, people on TV, whatever. Dayglow orange, why, what was it again? Why was I?
Pick any person in the audience and convince that person that their next car should be Dayglow orange.
Well, I think it should be Janet, actually. Well, Janet has these two dogs, and she takes them on walks. Foo-Foo and Fifi, or whatever their names are. And they're always running back and forth, and you can never get them to come back into the house. But if she had a car that was Dayglow orange, they would know how to get there, because you can't miss a car that's Dayglow orange. And the other thing is, they could wash your tires. They'd walk by, they'd lift one leg up, and they'd wash the car, and walk back around. Then, when you drive your car like into East LA somewhere, it's Dayglow orange, believe me, you would get a lot of attention, especially in some of those outlying areas down there. Another reason to have a car that's Dayglow orange is that when you go to the car wash, that song, Car Wash. Now, remember that song from the 70s or 80s? Car Wash now. You guys don't remember that song? Car Wash now. So you go through the car wash, and let me tell you, you're going to go for free, because who has a car that color? The other reason why you want to have a car that's Dayglow orange is if you live in Fairfield, you go to the Dome, you come home, people will always know where you're at. They always know where that Dayglow car wash, whatever, orange car is. It's a good idea, don't you think?
Thank you.
Sure.
So we have a new sequence of questions now for anyone who wishes to come forward.
Oh.
All right, good.
The setup here is that you are an archaeologist living in the year 2626. And looking back to the early 21st century, tell us what you think, from your perspective, that the item you are about to choose could have been used for. Would you like me to give you one, or do you wish to pick it
Oh, I
yourself?
want to stick my little.
Okay, go
paw in
right
there.
ahead. It's all
But I
down
won't
the way.
peek, because that's the.
Oh, great.
Ooh. Ooh. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters and viewers at home. I've just pulled this out and I'm brushing off the dirt. It's quite interesting. I've seen masks from many other cultures, but I've never seen a mask that looks like this, with two eyes and this very stylized nose in the middle and really no mouth. I'm not quite sure if this is a mask that is meant to be worn. It doesn't look like it might work on humans, at least, although I don't know if they went through a robotic phase where faces were this shape. I am concluding, however, that when this was constructed, they were in a period where there was really no communication, which is why I'm surmising that from the lack of a mouth. This was a society that listened to everything that was going around but did not communicate with each other. That's to me what this is symbolizing. Fortunately, that was the Toastmaster Dark Ages, and there wasn't communication during that time. But fortunately, we now live in a time where Toastmasters, the full value of communication has come back in the forefront. We do listen, but if today we were going to be making a mask that was similar to this, we would be adding another little, probably a little smiley mark right there to indicate that we were communicating with each other around the world. This is a very precious item. I probably would hang this on a wall at this point, reflecting its value. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you. We appreciate your expertise.
We're gonna do this for a while.
Oh,
Anyone else?
yeah. I'll do one. I don't know. I've already done one.
Yeah, you've already done one.
Okay, now we have to go, Peter.
All right.
You can
all
go
right.
later if there's a.
Okay.
We'll take Janet and then Fraser. So again, this is the same symposium that's being held in the year 2626. You are another well-known expert in the early 21st century. So please, without, probably better not to peek. I suppose.
Yeah, you're supposed to just stick your hand in there.
So you could still feel around and kind of get an idea of
Yeah,
what
but
things are.
not too much. Just get in there and get it out. Woo!
All right.
Okay, Janet.
So this is something that's found and I'm supposed to tell how it was
That's
used.
what you have, yes, exactly.
Okay.
What's your best
Yes.
shot
Right.
at what it was for?
Fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home. I have here a mixing piece. I can only imagine that way back when, there were people who actually did this type of baking. And it's hard to believe because now we have robotic arms that hang down from the ceiling and do everything for you. So I can't imagine how they did this, but it looks like some type of stir device. Back in the days when women used to bake and not as much men, hopefully that did evolve, but this was the device for stirring the cake. And I'm so glad those days are over, because I much prefer my little robot arms that take care of everything. You put in the recipe and you get exactly what you want, made to perfection, minus the love, but that's okay. You can love it for the robot and make the good vibes in the food.
Thank you very much.
Oh, it's this one.
Ha,
Dan.
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 Woo, Dan.
Mr. Craig,
I'm an archaeologist.
you are an
26.
archaeologist, and you are telling us about an artifact.
Ah.
You could show it to the audience also. Yes.
Mr. Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, viewers at home. This is a very interesting artifact. There was, I believe I'm right, that around the beginning of the 21st century, there was a sect that was trying to invent perpetual motion. And something would go in there, and then something would go in there, and the thing would get going. And once it got spinning, then you could plug it in anywhere. think they tried to use it as everything from smart meters to automobile engines. And unfortunately, it was a complete failure. A complete failure. What they didn't realize was that there were these holes in the end. So I believe the conclusion has to be that the people of that time were very nearsighted. So when they looked at this, they didn't realize that there was a hole in the bottom. So when you put your liquid or whatever in there in order to get the thing spinning, to create your perpetual motion and then master the universe of energy, the flaw was that it would drain through the hole. And they just couldn't figure it out. So it led to a lot of strife, the dissolving of the sect of perpetual motion people. And it's really quite a sad little story of a failure in the early 21st century. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that excellent expert opinion. Mr. Fraser Jones. Which university did you get your archaeological PhD from, Mr. Jones?
Yeah, the best university out. The first university of archaeology.
All right. So this item, we're eager to hear what your opinion of what it's for. Can you see it? Please show it to the audience as well. Yes. So small.
This is so small, and yeah, what would someone need something like this for? Indeed, in those so far off days, what could they be doing with something like this? Could they have could be like for a doll swing, you put some string, right, and then go back and forth. What other use could that be for? It is pretty strong, so steady. To really figure out the use of this, we have to see what else is actually around, so that probably we can match. We may be able to match some things. Either could this have left some mark on some other thing, so we could probably make a more informed decision. But really, could it be to make some lines, grooves, and this one, well, this would do some sharp grooves, and this would do some smooth round grooves. What could it be for? We have to look around further and see if we can see more evidence, some evidence of what this could have left an impression in. So that's it, Mr. Toastmaster.
Well, this is very priceless. Okay, there's another topic, which is the Carmen.
Okay.
So now we're going to a topic that is about the theme of the meeting. And tonight's meeting theme is authenticity. Because I found a quote that I liked, which is, to be yourself, everyone else is already taken.
Interesting.
And yes, Oscar Wilde had a lot of interesting quotes, as it turned out. And so, you're familiar with the word authentic? I
Yes.
assume. Excellent. What do you feel are the characteristics? What is an authentic person like, as far as you are concerned? Thank you very much.
Fellow Toastmasters, good evening, viewers at home. I think being authentic as a person is someone that is trying to be pretty well known of herself or himself, and he or she is prepared to take responsibilities of her actions. At the same time, it's also to take a yes or no, like with the same facility of being humble and try to be at the same time do not be too critical of yourself. You have to be authentic. You have to show your values to the other people, and at the same time you have to state like in a calm harmony with yourself, in peace with other people, with the environment, with your family, with your mother, with your father, with your children, because that one is going to be the authenticity that you are going to provide to the other people, and the other people is not going to judge you. Also, if you are spiritual, it's going to give you more deep insight into your soul, and you are going to touch more lives in your life.
Thank you very much. I think everyone has gone now. So
So are we
at
at
this point,
8:30 or 8:40?
8:28.
Well, I think we need some more table topics.
Yeah. Well, we've got
You got more?
a couple more.
I'll
Okay.
do it again. I don't care. Anybody else want to do it?
Okay, so we're gonna
Go ahead.
come up again.
I'll do
Another
it.
round.
All right.
Okay, all right, here we go.
Thank you. Give me a good one.
Tell us about a person who you feel maintained a high level of authenticity. This could be somebody that you have known, or it could be some figure that's known to the world at large. And how were they authentic, and what was their contribution?
Thank you, honored guests, viewers at home. Person who maintained authenticity. Okay. Robert F. Kennedy. Robert Francis Kennedy. I
What was the
remember
name again?
Robert Francis Kennedy. Robert Kennedy, RFK. John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy's younger brother. As a young family, he was the third child after Joe Jr., who died in the war, and his brother John. During the civil rights era in the 1960s, if you may remember that, there was a lot of strife, and he made a number of speeches. The one I remember the most was the speech he gave in Indianapolis in 1967, I believe, the day that Martin Luther King was shot by the CIA. We know who shot King. It wasn't some other crazy guy. And he came out, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "I had a brother." And he went through this whole speech about, you should all listen to that speech. It is so amazing. It was extemporaneous. He had no way to prepare for that. He had scribbled some notes down on some papers and stuff. And I remember the opening thing of that speech was he said, "I had a brother who had," he went on and on about this. And the problem with that was the day that Martin Luther King was shot. And they wanted to riot. And he pacified everybody. It's a great speech. You should listen to it. You can listen online.
Thank you very much. Anyone
Wi-Fi?
else?
Who said, who was first?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm going to break with customary Toastmasters protocol and repeat the question. And you can, and as many people as want to, can come up and give their example of a person who is authentic.
So what was the question?
Same question.
What is it?
The question is, tell us about a person who you feel maintained a high level of authenticity. This can be someone you have known personally,
Okay.
or a public figure.
Okay.
Fellow Toastmasters, Table Topics Master. I'd like to take a slight spin on that and talk about how I spend my life trying to learn about being authentic through trial and error, through trying to get in touch with my heart. And I toyed a lot with whether I should act like everything's okay when it's really not, because if I was authentic, it could upset people or they didn't know how to react. Because sometimes you're not having a wonderful day, right? So I definitely, continually, that is my goal, is to be authentic, to be where I am at. Some days good, some days bad. I feel that the more you let go of worrying about what other people think, and you allow yourself to be true to yourself and not worry about anything, but where are you really? How do you really feel? That to me is authenticity. And it can be rough on people because we have a habit in this culture of pretending a lot, trying to please others, trying to make a certain impression, and it's not always their truth. So I really enjoy working on authenticity. I love the subject. I think it's fantastic and a great daily challenge.
Thank you, Janet. Anyone else care to speak on that topic? I have a different question, but actually Janet already channeled my other question anyway, so. Hudaifa,
Yay.
welcome. I'll be your timekeeper if Dan.
Okay.
Shall I repeat the question or have you got it?
You said that you have another question, or?
Oh, well, I do, but Janet already kind of did it.
So give me the new question, I will
New
answer the
question,
next.
yeah.
Okay. Think of a time when you or someone else was able to act according to their intuition and be authentic. And if you don't like that topic, you can use the other topic. It's okay. Think of a time when you or somebody else, who is not you, was able to act according to intuition. You're familiar with the word
No.
intuition? It's a feeling that you have that comes to, maybe you're walking down the street and then something says, go here or do this. And then it turns out that it was the right thing to do. Or you don't know why you're doing something, but you just know this is the way I'm going to go.
Yes.
That's intuition.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Table Topics Master and fellow Toastmasters viewers at home, welcome back. It looks like I'm making up all the missed sessions that I do have this experience. Sometimes when I'm driving, I just say something, I feel just stop, and then when I stop, there is a police.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if I did not stop, I will be in trouble. Or sometimes or I don't know what happened, but there is something outer power that saved me from this. I cannot say it's a person because it's something more than a human being ability or authority. Sometimes I feel, yes, I'm just saved. I do not know how or why, but I'm saved. I was, I should be in an accident. I don't know why I'm not in an accident, because I've done a mistake, and that mistake should make an accident with other car or with a person or a human. But usually that makes me think about, yeah, there is something, some outer power that managing this world, and even if we do not take care of ourselves, someone takes care of us. I think, yeah. Maybe everyone has such experience with these feelings. Thank you.
How many do you have? Do you have 5? Okay, so I get to go.
Okay.
And then that'll be it, right? Then you'll have 6 and I'll have 6.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, can I go again?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, good. Okay.
Gee,
So,
so, do you wish to use one of the,
you just throw anything you want at me.
Well.
Been great, there've been some really good ideas here tonight.
well, I like this idea about hearing about people who are authentic. If you have someone that you have known or that you admire as a historical figure or as a currently living person, someone, who's not a fake? Who's for real?
Okay,
Who do you admire in that way?
okay, so who's not a fake, who do I admire?
Who's authentic?
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master, and fellow Toastmasters and viewers at home. I'm actually wanting to put the highlight or the spotlight on my niece, whose name is Blair Symington. Let me tell you a little bit about Blair. Blair skipped at least 2 grades coming up through the ranks. She graduated from college with a double major in math and physics. She is close to 6 feet tall. I think she's 5'10", 5'11", but she dwarfs me, her Aunt Jean, and she calls me Aunt Jean. That always gives me a thrill. She's about 23 now, not very long out of school. But she's one of the most authentic people that I know. I love visiting with her. She's living in Atlanta with my mom, and we go for these walk and talks, and it just warms my heart. The age difference just melts away. We are just people. I like to say I've been in the adult pool a little longer than she has. She's just gotten in there, but we're all in the adult pool. And we just talk to each other in a very non-hierarchical way. She has respect for me because I am her Aunt Jean. But we talk to each other at the same time in a very real, horizontal way together. I don't have children. I have dogs. And that's its own situation. But having a young person like that in my life who relates to me in that way, and I relate to her in that way, is just very, very charming for me. And if she's any indication of the generation that's coming along, I have hope.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So that will conclude the table topics for this evening. And at this point, I will give it back to the Toastmaster.
All right, here we
Thank you,
go.
Peter. Thank you for your, did anybody get the word?
Oh, one person did. I
Okay.
know who that was.
But we're still going.
Okay,
Talk is
and
still
I got,
going.
whether we
We're
have
still
to
going.
kind of wrap that up, put the word up there. And again, that word is Thigmotropism. It has something to do with figs. A fig has a thigmotropic growth. All right, let's see, where are we? All right, so table topics evaluator, Fraser.
First, we want to see who qualified.
Oh yeah, who qualified
Our timer.
on the timer? Or who didn't qualify?
No, just who qualified.
You need names, right?
Just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
names.
So since everyone has practiced, right?
Everybody,
Participated, everyone has participated, so everyone is qualified except Art.
Okay,
So I will
okay.
read all names: Hodeka, Dee, Jean, Janet, Dan, Fraser, Carmen, Dee, Janet, Hodeka, Jean.
okay,
Okay.
all
So,
right.
yeah. I didn't.
It must have been close.
How long was ours?
How long was ours? We're just-
Okay,
2:30.
2:30, you were 2 seconds.
2 seconds, Art.
Only last word when you turn your face to.
Okay.
So,
All right.
all right, thank you, Adaifa.
Okay.
And then we have to vote Peter for the best table topic speaker.
Mhm.
So we all
Okay.
vote for that. Send
Oh,
for
yeah,
the general
call for the
evaluator,
general
Art.
evaluator.
Yeah, come on, Art.
Okay.
My role is to run the evaluation and report section of the meeting. And do we still have 2 table topics evaluators tonight?
Mhm.
Have they divided their
So we're,
Their
we took
responsibilities.
turns. And Fraser, can we do it in 3 to 4 minutes? Or So we're,
Okay, so Mr. Timer, how much time are you giving for each table topics evaluator?
Here it's 2 to 3, but.
Yeah, we're good.
How many people do you have to
One day,
evaluate?
Oh,
Let's do 3 to 4.
Fraser, how many people do you have
Oh,
to
4 to
evaluate?
5.
I have 6.
We both have 6. We both have 6. So we were
And
saying
you-
we could do 3 to 4.
4 minutes.
3 to 4 minutes for each table topics evaluator.
Yes, we do 3 to 4.
3 to 4.
Okay,
I mean, I'll take as much time as I
3 to 4 or 4 to 5?
3
3
to
to
4.
3 to 4, we're gonna push on it.
3 to,
3:30 to 4.
if green will come at 3, yellow at 4.
No,
No,
3,
3:30 and
3 and a
4.
half.
yeah, exactly.
3 and a half?
3 and
3:30 and 4.
4, right,
That's the whites.
okay. Keep it rolling.
Fraser, are you going first?
Oh,
You
okay,
did the first one.
okay, yep, I did.
Please welcome Jean Symington Craig.
All right, all right. Fellow Toastmasters and viewers at home, right out of the gate, I loved these table topics, the way Peter put these together, and these colors. So we started out with colors, and Art was asked to tell us why he would paint his house pea green. Art hit the ball out of the park, as far as I'm concerned, because he said this was something he's actually doing, and then he gave us advantages, various reasons, ran the gamut for why we'd paint his house pea green. The one suggestion I had for Art is he said, so I have 3 advantages, and he actually gave us 4. So when you're summarizing, if you gave 4 things, you want to make sure you say the 4 things. Because what he also said was that it added resale value. Could add thousands of dollars in the resale value, and that wasn't part of the wrap-up. But, who can remember all these things? There were so many advantages to painting your house pea green. So that's my suggestion to Art. If you're wrapping up, make sure you include all the points that you want to include in your wrap-up. D, the Day Glow orange car. And Janet, so he picked Janet and he gave us some reasons why Janet needs a Day Glow car. I mean, she wears many different colors of reading glasses. I don't see why she shouldn't have some different colors of cars. And I liked his conclusion. It's a good idea, isn't it? He was looking and just saying that. I think I sold it on that one. The suggestion for D would be maybe to leave out the part about the dogs cleaning on the tires. That was a little bit, that's a little bit like, yeah. That was not the image that quite fit. All right, Janet, the mixer and the beater. She was saying it looks like a beater device. She prefers her robots. I wasn't sure if Janet really got her head into that particular item. But what I want to suggest for Janet is, please, if you have a beater that looks like it's something that is in the kitchen, and to say women use them, well, maybe men too. Ooh, I was cringing at that. So hopefully, the men are using those things too, because, chefs and all of that. I mean, everyone's cooking. So Mr. Fraser with the can opener. Fraser was kind of stumped the expert, because he was saying, I don't know. I'm the expert, but I don't know what this is. Maybe it's part of something else. And he concluded with, there's further research that we need on this. That was his talk. I'm going to suggest that Fraser was struggling a little bit with that item, and that I don't know how much time you took at the beginning, but maybe a little more time up front to think, where am I going to go with this? Okay. Could be one earring, and the other earring is missing. I mean, just get wacky about it. Let's see. D, I did D twice, looks like. Person with high authenticity. D answered that question really well. He picked a person right out. Robert Francis Kennedy, RFK. He really got into specifics. The 1967 speech. He gave a specific example, how it moved him. I really liked D's speech. I was going to say D had a little bit of swaying side to side while he was doing this. So D, a little more core engagement here and not have the swing. And he also had some ums, a little more ums I'd like to see. Finally, Hudaifa had the question about the intuition. Great idea. That feeling we've all had. You're driving, all of a sudden you go, I better slow down. And then you happen to look right, and there's this cop coming right, like right on the side. If you hadn't slowed down, you would have gotten caught. We all know what that's like. But then he also used it to say, well, that intuition, it's not really a person, but maybe it's coming from something bigger, and we all have that experience. So he kind of let it into spiritual side. I liked it. I don't have enough time to give any more feedback, but it was a good effort. Thanks, and good to see you.
Good job.
Okay.
Now, if Fraser would come and give his evaluations of the others.
Okay.
Mr. General Evaluator, fellow members and viewers at home. Yeah, these were some very good answers to and very good topics. So starting with Hudaifa, he took time to think, he addressed the audience. I think you could have been a little more expressive especially at the coincidence of having a flamingo pink shirt and that being the chosen color. Going on to Jean. She greeted the audience. She had great concentration in examining the object. And she had very good projection, her voice. And one suggestion I would have for her is that she could have make better use of the stage. She just stood one place. Moving on to Dan. Yeah. He took some time to think. He greeted the audience. And he had good demonstration, the perpetual motion. I liked how he moved it around. He had big hand gestures. Somehow I didn't have a suggestion for you, Dan. Carmen. Yeah, she took time to think. She greeted the audience. And it was a very deep and critical speech. She had good hand gestures. And my suggestion is that you could have a little more purposeful movement. Janet. Yeah, what is an authentic person? Yeah, you greeted the audience. And you talk about yourself and displaying your true feelings and went through some detail about that. And then you had a great wrap up, incorporating all the things you spoke about before, and saying you would do that from now on. I would say you had a little bit of what I would call uncontrolled movement, especially at the beginning, you were moving around like this, I guess like that. And I think you could, yeah.
Trying to move,
Try to be a little more purposeful, make your point, and then, yeah. Okay, Jean. Yeah, she took time to think. She greeted the audience. And she had some great gestures, like 6 feet tall, you know. And she went into detail of a very good detail on why she think her niece was an authentic person. And she had great projection and eye contact with everybody in the audience. All in all, I was very impressed, and I do not have any. The only suggestion, probably you could have a little more movement. That's it, Mr. Evaluation.
So, Mr. Timer, did both of our evaluators qualify?
No, only Jean.
Oh,
Jean is the qualifying evaluator? Very good. So we will skip the vote.
sorry.
Next would be the reports from the role players.
Right, so we,
Reports from the role players. The first role player I'd like to hear from would be Hy-Vee, the timer.
Thank you. My time report is for table topic speakers. Art, 232. Hy-Vee, myself, 123 for the first time. D for the first time, 207. Jean for the first time, 208. Janet, 114. Dan, 153. Fraser, 206. Carmen, 205. D for the second time, 202. Janet for the second time, 135. Myself for the second time, 206. Jean for the second time, 216. And for evaluators, we have Jean, 418, and Fraser, 438. Thank you.
Now I'd like to call on our counter Carmen to give us her report. Thank you.
Okay, my report for the accountant is Jean, 1 1 D, 2 2 you know, 2 so, and 1 false start. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce it.
Hy-Vee.
Oh, Hy-Vee. 1 1 1 saw, 1 0. Janet, 1 1 Peter, 1 and. Art, 1 saw. Dan, 1 Fraser, 1 1 saw. And me, 2 1 1 like, and 1 false start. That's it.
Good job. Thank you. If our grammarian could please now tell us about thigmotropism.
Well, I'm pleased to say 2 people managed to use it, as far as I remember. Art used the word of the day, and Dan used the word of the day very nicely. I thought it was a very interesting meeting with these topics, and it's a lot of intuition going on, pretty amazing, for Peter to have chosen Art, who is painting his house, and then the salmon shirt. Somebody was really in tune when thinking of ideas today. Okay, let's see. D had an interesting stretch of the imagination in his speech. I'm sorry I don't remember the exact word. I loved Peter's quoting of Oscar Wilde. D used the word extemporaneous, which was an excellent word. I believe it was D. And I liked when Peter said Janet channeled my question. That was well put. A lot of channeling going on tonight. I liked some of the phrases that Jean used. The age difference melts away. Very good visual image of that. And I've been in the adult pool. I've never heard that term used. I like that too. Thank you very much.
I'm forgetting a role player. There's a joke master opportunity coming up shortly.
Timer for Marion?
Yeah, we got him.
That's it. And then
Joke master.
Mr. Joke Master.
Yay!
We are waiting breathlessly for your offering.
Don't hold your breath too long. Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home. The scene is the inside of a control tower at an airport. There's a helicopter coming in for a landing.
we're supposed to wait till you end the joke.
There's a punchline later. It gets better. You hear a voice over the speaker, pilot saying, "This is Chopper 1056Z3 coming in to land at pad 4. Suddenly there's another voice. No, we're coming in to land at pad 4. Break off. Then the first voice again. You idiot, you're my co-pilot.
Well done, faithful servant. Now, according to the agenda, there's an opportunity for the general evaluator to pontificate for a few moments. Some of the things that I observed were that part of your job as a role player is to study how an experienced Toastmaster has done that role in the past, and then to emulate that. So, for example, the Toastmaster routinely asks each role player to stand and to introduce how he's doing his role. We don't just, as the Toastmaster, say, John Doe is the timer tonight. We ask John Doe to stand and to explain how the role of the timer is carried out. And same for the others. I felt that the issue of no prepared speech was good for the president to mention once, but I think that we don't need to belabor it on camera. So my bringing it up once again is belaboring it. That's the sum of my comments tonight. It's time for me to reintroduce the Toastmaster of the evening, T. Stover.
So now we are ready for the awards. And
I should be behind you on the table or something.
Or your place on top is.
Under the books.
Look under your manuals. Look under there.
oh, okay, here we go.
But he doesn't know who it is.
I don't know who it is.
Who counted?
Did somebody give you a slip of paper?
No.
Wait.
Okay, so I have one here.
Okay. Tabletop.
Best tabletop.
All right.
Yeah, that's the only one, right?
Yeah.
The winner is, little drum roll, Jean Symington Craig.
Oh, my goodness. All
Here you are.
right. Thank
Take
you.
a picture.
So somebody else voted for me besides me?
One other
Yes.
person. Okay,
You suggested that the next one.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The next one. Best evaluated.
okay, closing comments.
No, she's the best evaluated.
There. She's qualified. Yeah.
So do you have a best evaluator ribbon there?
Best evaluator ribbon.
Right there in your hand.
Yeah,
There it is. Well, guess who it goes to?
I don't, who is it? I don't know.
We
It's
had,
Jean.
we had two and
He's
he
not qualified.
didn't qualify.
So it's Jean, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, here it is, okay. Okay, use my core. Okay. Pilates, you know, okay. Here we go.
Okay, meeting awards, closing comments.
Yeah.
President Jean Symington Craig.
All right, great, thank you. All right. So just a couple of comments here. Thank you very much, Dee. That was, let's give Dee a round of applause. It's always hard. You know, we do want everyone to be watching how things are done so that when it's your turn, you're already halfway there.
Even if there's practically no notice.
That's
which
right.
is the case with D.
That's right, that's right. So you want to have that, as Art was saying. However, I have seen people be up here and they still don't actually do the role perfectly or even goodly, better, going back to my previous talk, until they actually go through it. And I've seen people get completely turned around. So thank you, Dee, for working that. Do you feel like if you had to come up and do Toastmaster again, you would have
More experience.
more things connecting? I say when I do timer, sometimes it's, I'm supposed to be timing and I messed up. And so that's good. So thank you for doing that. And we also had Carmen doing her first role of the club as our counter. Let's give her a.
Yes, you need a
Okay. And then in terms of we didn't have a prepared speech tonight, so I am belaboring it. Here we go, Art. But in terms of cup being half full, I think we had a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, does anyone else feel that their brain got a little scratched in terms of like a little bit of a workout and, you know, you're feeling different now than when you came in? Okay, yes, Dee?
I make a comment. I like these because they're very spontaneous.
That's
As
right.
opposed to a prepared speech. You have to think more on your feet when you're doing.
Well, it's not an either or situation, I'm just gonna say. So, yeah, a lot of
It's not
people
a
like
bad-
table topics. You don't really have to prepare, and it is a different muscle group. Prepared speeches is a different tool. So we wanna have all of the tools in our toolbox, so that's why we work on all of them. A number of you a little bit shared with me today that something about today was, it was a challenging day for people. It's kind of a challenging day. And Dan and I had a sick puppy, and we're both trying to get to work. We're trying to get the dog. You know, the dog is, it's up in the middle of the night, and I don't know how parents do it. Because dog. Anyway, so the thing is when you come to Toastmasters, it can change the vibe. So now you go home and you go, okay, all that stuff was happening, but I did something for myself. And I feel better now as a result. I don't know what that was or how that worked, but now I feel a little more like that's not so overshadowing. So I just want to point that out for people. It's the cup is half full. So let's go with next week. We're not going to be here. Again, viewers at home, we're not going to be here. Don't come and visit us. Visit us at the first meeting in July, which will be July 3rd. July 3rd, we will have our officer meeting over in the Hy-Vee eating area, 6:45. Everyone, all officers now have their manuals? They've gotten their leadership manual? Great. Okay. I'd like to get a show of hands of who is going to be at Aranda's next week.
What's the date again?
It's the
6th.
thank you, 7 on to
Yes.
19, 26. Oh, you were?
Yeah, I just didn't put two and two together today, yeah.
Okay. Well, so again, I want hands of who's going to be here. Carmen, you can come too. I mean, this is a club thing.
We're meeting at Aranda's next
At
week.
Aranda's. Does
Next
everybody
week.
know where Aranda's is? Okay, we did. So I have 1, 2, possible. 3, Hudaifa, you had your hand up? 4, 5, 6. Okay. Me is 7. Okay, and is there anyone that's missing here? We don't know about Will.
Veda.
Will
We
be
don't know
Yeah.
about-
Veda, Veda,
Oh, yeah,
What's Will?
Veda just started a new job.
yeah.
And,
Okay.
Driving.
he has to be available on an instant's notice, so his attendance at the club is likely to be
Spotty.
at the last
Spotty.
minute. Yeah, he'll be here, and if he doesn't get called in the middle, then he can do a job.
Okay, okay. Have we heard anything from Will after his totally big corporate event? Might be worth sending it, you know, I'm gonna text him, but like it's the VP of Ed, you might just say, Will, are you available yet for, you know, for, he worked his little, you know, he worked himself a lot to this big annual corporate event. But it's
that's
over now.
over now.
It's over now. It's over now, and he's had a little bit of time to rest. Okay. So let's just check on Will, see if he's back in. That'd be great to get him back in. Is there anything I'm missing here for what we're doing?
What did you
Yes.
say the time for Rhonda's is?
The 7:15 good for people?
Yeah.
They normally open until 9, so I don't want to get too close to their closing. Yes?
So we're gonna eat a meal and maybe have table topics, we're gonna,
No, we're going to
Do
eat a
what
meal,
with
and
the,
we're going to eat a meal, and then we're going to induct the new officers, and that's just a process, and I'll probably do it. So we'll do that, and then it's just socializing and having fun. Is there any other suggestion that you have from your side?
no, that's fine.
Yeah.
We often do table topics at that event, I've noticed, but we don't have to do it.
Yeah. We can think about that. Would we want to do some kind of interesting, funny, you know, just not something that would take up a lot of time, but something that would be a deal. We'll think about it. Honestly, it's if we get the officers inducted and we just get a chance to talk and enjoy ourselves a little bit, socialize, I think that's what I'd really like to see. That's what we normally do. We just have a smaller group this year. Yes, Dee?
Well, I was just thinking if people come here that don't know we're meeting there, we might want to put a sign at the door.
We do need a sign. Is there anyone who'd be here possibly on a Tuesday that could put a sign up here on the door that we're not meeting?
Yeah, I could come and put a sign up.
Could you?
And it would say, if you want to come, we're at Aranda's. Or
Well-
no, just say the meeting's
Come
canceled.
next to-
No, we won't say cancel, we're just saying year-end annual celebration. Please,
Come
please
next
come
week.
visit us next week, okay? Love to have you, yes. Hudaifa?
It's only for members or for families?
No, it's families too.
So we come
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
families?
so that's a good, very, very good
Yeah,
point.
that's nice.
Okay,
That'd be nice, yeah.
yeah, so if you have, okay, so now we'll go back. I
You can
said-
bring your dog.
I need to talk to them for the table, because I'm gonna try to get a table, so we're together. So, Peter, so tell me if you're a +1 or a +2 or whatever.
Well, +1 provisionally, but my wife plays a lot of tennis in the evenings too, and I don't know which one will win. I have to get back to you.
But This is
Okay.
next Tuesday, right?
This is next Tuesday, and I want to talk to them about saying, I've worked with them before, I just say, well, here's, we're having this size of a group, and I don't want to have it, be massively more or significantly less. So I'd give them an idea. Okay, so why don't you send me
A
something?
possible +1.
Ask her tonight or tomorrow, and then let me know, okay? Hudaifa, what about you?
My wife and 2 children.
Okay, so that's 4. Dan, better not be a +1.
He's +1 and you are +1 also. So.
Yeah, but
Go
somehow
for it.
that's double
You gotta
counting,
count
I don't
Yeah,
know.
the application.
Yeah, okay, so we have 2, Dan and Jean, and then Carmen, what about you? You, yourself, and I, so she's just being authentic, she's gonna be herself, and then D. Okay, so now I'm up to 9, and it's gonna be possibly 10 with Peter. Oh, Art, what about you?
Leave me alone.
You what?
Me alone.
You alone, okay, so we have 10. Okay, and
Yeah.
possibly, okay, so that's good, all right. That's it, I think, are we good? Any other questions? When we next meet in this room, it's our new year, July, it's our starting of the 2018, 2019 year. Again, just encouraging you guys to step up and look at your next project, look at what it is, and let Peter know so that he can schedule you, because that's fun, and that's how we move. Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I have motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
It's the first time anybody has ever